The night was silent and heavy, cloaked in a stillness that seemed to stretch infinitely. The only sounds breaking the quiet were the rhythmic creaking of wooden oars slicing through the water and the occasional splash of cold, dark water as the fishermen cast their nets into the Sea of Galilee. Under the vast canopy of stars, the water shimmered softly, mirroring the celestial lights above, yet beneath the surface, the sea felt empty, almost hollow. These men had been fishing all night, and their efforts had yielded nothing. It was a familiar, weary routine, but tonight there was an underlying sense of despair. It had been days since the crucifixion of Jesus, days marked by grief, confusion, and guilt. Peter, in particular, carried the weight of his denial. 3 times he had sworn he did not know Jesus, and each denial haunted him more than the last. The memory of the rooster crowing in the early hours after his betrayal echoed painfully in his mind, a stark reminder of his failure. Despite the evidence of the empty tomb and the reports from the women about Jesus' resurrection, Peter's heart was burdened with shame. He struggled to believe that forgiveness could truly reach him, that grace could cover his brokenness. So, he returned to what he knew best, fishing. It was familiar ground, a way to drown out his guilt and find some semblance of control amid the chaos of his mind. But the nets remained empty. Dawn was approaching, and the first pale light seeped over the horizon, casting a gentle glow on the water. As the fishermen strained against the weightless emptiness, a figure appeared on the distant shore. A faint silhouette stood by a small fire, its flickering light dancing softly against the early morning mist. The figure's presence was subtle but commanding, familiar yet strangely different. Then came the voice, gentle, warm, and tinged with an almost teasing tone. "Children, have you caught anything?" Startled, the fishermen responded in unison, shouting back, "No." The voice called out again, more insistent. "Cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you'll find some." With hesitant hope, they obeyed. As the nets were cast to the other side, a sudden surge of weight pulled at the rope. The net thrummed with life, fish thrashing and splashing, filling the nets beyond capacity. It was an overwhelming catch, too many to count. The scene was surreal, almost miraculous. John, peering into the morning mist, felt his heart leap with recognition. His breath caught in his throat as he realized who was on the shore. Without hesitation, he exclaimed, "It is the Lord!" In a flash, Peter's instinct took over. Without waiting to reach the boat, he threw himself into the water, clothes and all, splashing and swimming toward the figure on the shore. His heart was pounding with a mix of excitement and longing, desperate to see Jesus once more, to be near him again. The other disciples followed, rowing the boat hastily, the net heavy with fish dragging behind them. When they finally reached the shore, they found Jesus waiting beside a small fire. The smell of freshly cooked fish and warm bread filled the air. Jesus had prepared breakfast, a simple yet profound act of love and provision. They sat down together, the silence thick with awe and unspoken emotion. No one asked questions. They simply ate in reverence, the moment heavy with meaning. Jesus broke the bread and handed them fish, his hands still bearing the scars from the crucifixion, wounds that told a story of pain, sacrifice, and ultimately, victory. As they ate, a conversation long anticipated began to unfold, one that would forever change Peter's understanding of forgiveness and grace. The restoration, a conversation of love. Looking directly into Peter's eyes, Jesus asked softly, yet with undeniable authority, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" Peter's heart clenched at the question. He knew what Jesus was asking, more than the fishing, more than the shame, more than his past failures. With trembling voice, he replied, "Yes, Lord. You know that I love you." Jesus responded with gentle firmness, "Feed my lambs." A second time, Jesus asked again, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" This time, Peter's voice quivered. "Yes, Lord. You know that I love you." Jesus answered, "Tend my sheep." Then, a third time, an echo of Peter's 3 denials, Jesus asked. "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter's heart broke open. The weight of guilt and remorse pressed heavily on him. He felt the sting of the repeated question, and tears welled up in his eyes. With honesty and humility, he replied, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus' words were tender yet firm. "Feed my sheep." What had just transpired in that moment? It was more than a simple conversation. It was an act of profound forgiveness. Jesus didn't rebuke Peter or remind him of his failures. Instead, he restored him through love, through questions that acknowledged Peter's heart and renewed his purpose. Jesus' forgiveness was not just words. It was a recommissioning, a calling back into service, into leadership. The one who had failed so publicly was now entrusted with guiding Christ's flock. The fire that once burned in shame, by the high priest's courtyard during Peter's denial, was now the fire of reconciliation, of restoration. That small flickering flame symbolized the transforming power of grace. The deeper lesson. This story is often told over breakfast, sharing bread and fish, but its message reaches far beyond a simple meal. It reveals how Jesus meets us exactly where we are, whether on the shore of our shame, in the midst of our failure, or in moments of deep regret. He doesn't wait for us to climb back up to him. Instead, he comes to us, cooking breakfast, offering presents, and extending forgiveness. Jesus' approach is rooted in love and compassion, not judgment. His presence restores us, not through criticism, but through connection. His scars tell the story of pain endured and love poured out. And in those scars we find hope, that no failure is beyond his reach, no mistake too great to be forgiven. Sometimes, the deepest healing happens over the simplest of settings: a fire, some fish, and a conversation. It's in those quiet moments that Jesus restores our broken hearts, redefines our purpose, and rekindles the fire of love within us. In the end, this story reminds us that forgiveness is not just a concept but a living reality. Jesus' resurrection life is evidence that no matter how dark the night, the dawn will come. And in that dawn, we can find new beginnings, restored, renewed, and loved beyond measure. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on this powerful story with us. May it remind you that no matter where you are in your journey, whether in moments of failure, shame, or hope, there is always room for forgiveness, restoration, and new beginnings through the love of Christ. We invite you to carry this message in your heart and share it with others. If this story touched you, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring reflections. May you experience the peace, love, and grace of Jesus each day. God bless you.